Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at wcbe.org. I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And this is It's Movie Time. Now, Linda, a car, a driver, for an hour and a half. This is the movie called Locke, with an E on the end. But tell me, this has got to be boring.
Well, it's a film, and it's a film in every artistic sense of the word, not a movie like the one you reviewed last week. But for those who love to be artfully drawn into a uniquely told story, this film is for you, for sure. In fact, halfway through it, I renamed the movie Shakespeare on the Road and on the Phone. So there you have it.
That's true, because the only other player in this, besides the voices that come in, is the phone.
Yes.
And it's a major part of the production. And he's going from Birmingham to London. It's a tough day for Locke, who is our protagonist, played by Tom Hardy. And I'll tell you, Linda, if next year he isn't nominated for an Oscar, I'm going to say, don't put out a good movie like this until October or November, because people forget. This is a singular performance, reminding me a little bit of Joaquin Phoenix in Her, where we're watching all the time. Yeah,
but I liked Thomas Hardy much better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But we're on the we're on a ride with Ivan, but where is he going at this time of the night? He's on the phone. Who is he talking to? We know he's driving to London. What are the freeways called in
The M1, M6. I think the major one is the M6 to get down to London from Birmingham. And it's not, everybody says it's real time, but I think it takes actually a half an hour more to get to Birmingham. But anyway, it's about real time.
Right.
And he's going down because here is rock solid Ivan, construction manager. This is the biggest concrete pour in all of Europe and England, except for any military pour. So this is a huge building, and he is the construction manager.
Right.
And he's leaving.
His destination and all that he's leaving behind is revealed slowly by the conversations that he has. Because of the tone and the plot, there's a little bit of Hamlet going on here, I think. We learn that he's leaving behind his wife and his family. Like you said, he's going to be a no-show at a job site on one of the most important jobs he's ever worked on, all because he is compelled to do the right thing.
Sure. And look, it's no secret that he had a one-night affair with a very introverted lady a year ago, and she is now giving birth. This is a family man. He has two boys. They're waiting for him to come home to talk about a great football game. Wife is making dinner, and he lays on her the fact that he's not coming home that night because he's going down to attend the birth of his baby.
I was not going to reveal all those secrets.
I think it's something that you have to know because there's so little plot. I think people have to know, right?
Okay.
I agree about being reluctant to do it. Otherwise, we're dancing in space. If people don't know the real conflict in the story is between his sense of duty to his family and
his
job.
Which is so strong. Yeah. He's trying not to let anyone down at all.
That we identify with him here. So it's a huge building. He's the construction manager.
Right, he's going to be a no-show at the job site.
He is. However, in that phone, which is a participant in this whole thing, he will be talking to an underling who is going to be helping him. And that's how responsible he is.
Right, and some of that was a little bit of comic relief, talking to this man, and Ivan's worried that he's had a few beers or something.
Ciders
when he's trying to take directions.
Donald has had just a few. And so that adds to the stress, but our man is cool.
Right.
Ivan is very cool.
He deals with stress, which was incredible. His tone of voice and everything was such charismatic calm, advising everyone with clear, logical instructions.
And that's why I believe his last name is Locke, because it refers to John Locke, the 18th century Enlightenment philosopher. who would have agreed with the individualism and the sense of responsibility and the social contract and all that. But anyway, regardless of what you think his last name means, so he's going there to be at the birth. A very noble thing considering the huge responsibility he had.
Huge.
And that he is a completely devoted family man with two boys who are watching a football game, can't wait to celebrate with their dad the victory of their team. A wife who had no idea.
Right. Who he clearly loves.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And so he has to tell her why he's going.
And he's such a good man. I mean, we're rooting for him. We have no idea how this is going to work out.
Yes.
He's so calm when he's talking to these people on the phone. But when he hangs up, he starts banging the steering wheel. And he's shouting all kinds of swear words and emotional exhaustion and a bad cold.
Yeah,
Start to close in on it.
And I question. There are scenes in there where he's talking to his father, kind of fictionalized talking.
Hamlet, anyone?
Right, exactly. And it's a bit questionable as whether that needs to fit in there, because Knight, who's also the writer, is is blatantly telling you that Ivan is not going to make the same mistake that his father made of leaving the family.
Right.
And so he is going forward with this because of his sense of responsibility. And through the whole hour and a half, I believe we know this about the man. Wouldn't you say, by the time we get to the end of it?
Right. You feel like you really know him.
You know this very solid, very good man who has to make a very difficult decision.
Right. And again, his acting was superb. We get inside of his thoughts and emotions. His face reveals everything, even though he has a beard.
Yes.
It reveals everything. He's trying so hard to keep it together.
And you know, and you're reminding me, it's mostly underplayed, as any good film with a protagonist who is the only object of our camera must underplay it, and he does it beautifully. But you feel all of the emotion that he's going through. You're there riding with him in that car.
And even, when the tears start running down his face, he's just having a conversation with his son about a football game. But you feel this intensity of his emotions, and when the tears start running down his face, they were running down mine as well.
One of the brilliances of this movie is that the voices that come over now, it's a hands-free phone, so he's talking all the time. It's got to be just a bit distracting for him, and there potentially could be some accidents along the way. But he's not. There's no accident. Let me tell you that right now. Although every time there's a feeling there might be.
Right.
But those voices from people, his mistress, his wife, his worker, and his sons, and so on, are real. I mean, what they have done is crafted characters who have a real personality out of just voices coming from this remote telephone in his car. Amazing.
It is amazing. And again, you're really rooting for this guy. The cinematography, I thought, was very good, considering that it mostly is shot inside of a car on his face, different angles of his face.
Yes.
But every once in a while, they'll have a cutaway.
Yes.
And the reflected lights on the highway, they shimmer. And at one time, I thought they almost looked like angels. And I wanted those angels to be guiding this man in this journey to do the right thing, but hopefully to come back to his family, who he loves. He may not have a job when he comes back, but I was just rooting for him all the way.
One of the themes underneath this, and he says, he expresses it at some point, that out of a small mistake, and he calls it a small mistake, his wife would not call it a small mistake.
Right.
Out of this little mistake, a whole life can fall apart. And I thought, this is really a universal theme. People who are really good people can make a mistake. And that mistake can resonate throughout their whole lives. And this one has changed his life forever. He is making the admission to his wife, who is not pleased at all about it. He loses his job immediately because, of course, he's not there. And he's going to an uncertain fate with a new baby with a woman he doesn't even know.
Yeah, he doesn't even know her.
And one of the great things about this, when she says that she loves him, and she wants him to respond, he can't respond that he loves her because he says he doesn't know her.
Right.
What a.
And this is one of the themes that goes through the conversation. This is an honest man.
Yes.
A truly honest man.
And he is caught by a small mistake that he makes. It's not small. No wife would consider it small. No husband would consider the wife. It is very serious between the two of them. But when you consider the depth and weight of the job he has,
Right.
it is maybe small, but it just means that his whole life has changed forever.
Right.
Well, Linny,
Yes, Johnny.
we really have to award a grade to this movie. I'm hoping that you give it a decent grade.
I give it an A+.
Well, I have never given an A+ in my life, but I
Really?
for sure am going. Well, A is the highest grade, and
Okay.
But I'm with you. This gets an A from me too.
Yeah, I was in it. I was in the movie all the way.
Yes. So our whole purpose today for our It's Movie Time listeners is to let you know that in this first half of the year, this is one of the very best movies.
Definitely.
And we wanted to let you know that even though it sounds as if it might be boring, it is not for 1 second boring.